Welcome to MILF,
I'm Courtney,
and I'm Jennifer.
and we are two moms into literary freedom. Hey, Jennifer.
Hey, Courtney. Oh, I like your mug.
Isn't it
That's
so
pretty
badass?
badass. Yeah,
Look at this thing.
look
It's
at
huge.
you. Where'd you get that?
So for the listeners out there, you can see my badass mug on our YouTube page at Milk for Books. Um, Check us out there. But this is a huge black mug that has silver letters that say badass, and then the handle is like a fucking handgun. It's like the same
Glock, right?
size. Yeah, a Glock. It's the same size as like a real Glock, but it doesn't keep your coffee that hot because it's so big.
Yeah, that I can see that happening.
But
It's cute though.
so we come home from vacation and this is like waiting for us.
So you
And
didn't order it?
I did not order it. No, do you think this is my style?
I mean, I was a little shocked. I was like, okay, that is pretty
No.
badass though.
I hate this thing. I want to accidentally break it. There's no room for it. I mean, it's a fun conversation piece, I guess, but no, my husband Blake has this he's got like a series of punk rock mugs, and some of them are like
Sam.
they're like the names of like punk rock bands. One of them was the Suicide Machines. Have you ever heard of
Yeah.
you've heard of it?
No.
No.
No, I haven't. I'm not too big into punk rock. See, I'm not into it at all.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't like the screaming because I like to be able to hear the lyrics. Like I like to be able to know what is being said, and like
Yeah.
I so a lot of it I can hear and I like, so I like I call it the calm punk, but I don't like the crazy punk that I can't understand what they're saying. But when you read the lyrics, you're like, damn, that's awesome. And like, it's all like Rage Against the Machine,
Yeah.
political, like, on the nose for, the things that we talk about. But anyway, the Suicide Machines, he had this mug and it said like God is dead on the back of it or something. And I was like, Blake, what if your parents come over? Like they're gonna think I'm such a bad wife. Like, and so he also had this other mug. It was like similar, something about like Satan, which let's
Okay.
just be clear, Blake does not worship Satan. If anything, he's like he doesn't believe in
In
anything.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah. But like he thinks it's, I guess, funny for lack of a better word. So I quote accidentally broke one of these mugs a couple years ago when I knew his parents were coming over. He replaced it with this God is Dead mug. Okay. It's one of his favorite bands, Suicide Machines. And our friends were house sitting while we were in Michigan and they broke it.
Oh my God. Accidentally too, or on purpose?
Yeah. Well, so with
Accidentally on purpose?
my friend Coral, yeah. And I mean, she says she did it on accident. I don't know why she would do it. She's not
Right.
religious, so it's not like she was offended. Like she doesn't
Right.
give a shit. So I'm sure it was an accident. It was just funny that that was the one. And so she texted Blake, and Blake was like, "Oh, Courtney's gonna be so happy." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm not mad that that mug broke." And so we were having this story with our other, with our other friend in Michigan, Mark, and it's Blake's birthday on Monday. So he thought it was hilarious that I broke a mug on purpose
Yeah.
like a few years ago. And so his response was to buy the most offensive mug that he could find and have it waiting for us when we got back home to Florida under
That's
the
funny.
guise of Blake's birthday.
Right.
This is
That's
Blake's.
funny. I like it though.
Yeah.
Like I know like
I know
I
you would like this.
yeah, I'm not anti-gun, right? I just think
Mhm.
a lot of people shouldn't own them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, there's too much of a hype. Like I'm not anti-gun either, but it's like it's just like we worship them. Oh my God, that reminds me. One of my kids was like, so and so's Christian. I didn't know they liked guns or something like that. Like there it was something to the effect of like, oh yeah, he really likes his guns. And she was like, oh, is he Christian too?
Right. Like, oh, okay, that connection is there, you know? Yep.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, it was so funny. Anyway,
They pick up on it, you know,
yeah. Yeah.
they realize it.
Speaking of picking up on things, can you hear the kazoo in the background?
No, can you hear
Good.
my birds?
No.
Okay, good, because we got birds about a month ago and they're
Yeah.
loud as fuck.
Are they doing
So
well?
loud. They're doing really well. Yeah. If you could hear them, you'd realize how well they're doing. They're
Yeah.
whap, whap, whap in the
Good.
back.
No. Yeah, these mics are pretty good at like not picking up background noises,
Good.
but anyway, we've got a lot to get into today. I think if it's okay with you, since there is so much going on in the world, we are going to kind of focus this episode on education, because we're going to cover two books by Ruby Bridges about Ruby Bridges, and we're going to talk about Linda McMahon, that piece of human garbage, and Ruby Bridges, the opposite of human garbage, an amazing, brave civil rights activist since the age of 6 years old. But yeah, there's a lot to talk about in terms of like budget cuts and what the future of education is going to look like, being that, we're both moms of kids in school, like how is that going to affect our kids?
Right.
Um, how's it going to affect kids that aren't our kids? All that. So,
Yep.
uh, but yeah, first of all, let's talk about a few months ago. I think you're the one that sent me this clip. It was Linda McMahon at this like congressional hearing, and it was about DEI.
I
Can you
think so.
remember? Yeah, you're the one
Yeah.
that sent it
I
to me. And
send a
then
lot of stuff, so I tend to forget like what? But yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
our Instagram like chat that you abandoned me in is just hundreds of stories that I'm just like, oh, we got to cover this, we got to cover this, and you just don't
And
read.
then we can't find it when we need
Yeah,
it. So many things in
I
there.
have a few that I'm gonna bring up, but yeah, God, it's so much. But anyway, this congressional hearing, I turned it into a video, but it was about the Tulsa Race Massacre, which we're gonna cover soon. So I have that book around here somewhere, but it's called Blackbirds in the Sky, and it's about the Tulsa Race Massacre. And I
Yeah,
turned it into a YouTube short, where Linda McMahon is basically like admitting that she has no idea what that is. Do you remember that one?
I do. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how she got the job, but I say that
Mhm.
about everyone in this administration. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
I
I know
mean,
she got it. She bought it,
yeah, we
but
know. Yeah. I just think it's funny too, not like funny haha, like funny what the fuck, that
right.
she's like, yeah, we're getting rid of the Department of Education when that is her entire job. It's like what are you gonna do once it's gone?
I'm gonna fire myself.
Yeah. I'm trying to find the name of oh yeah, Representative Summer Lee, um, a Democrat from Pennsylvania, interviewed Linda McMahon and was like talking about, what's DEI? Are you going to get rid of, is this illegal? Is teaching the Tulsa Race Massacre, is that illegal? And then the clip is like, do you even know what the Tulsa Race
Right.
Massacre is? She's like, I'm gonna have to get back to you on that.
Right. It's always, like I'll have to get back to you. And I mean, it's not a super popular subject, right? But it is something that has been brought
Hold
up
on, you
before.
have to tell listeners you're not laughing.
Yeah, I'm not she's sipping out of her mug again, and it's just hilarious to see Courtney sipping out of that mug. But you hold it like you've had experience holding a gun.
I would love to learn how to fire a handgun. I really would. Like, just in the off chance that I'm like, I have a handgun and I need to use it. You never know. I
Yes.
don't I don't want to know how to fire a rifle of any kind, assault rifle, hunting rifle. I don't want the big guns, which I have
Yeah.
shot before because my brother-in-law is a redneck hunter and he's got all kinds of those guns. But I told him, I was like, I want to learn how to fire a handgun. So maybe next time.
Right. And like owning guns for hunting. Yes.
Mhm.
An AK-47 or whatever they're called, because if we call it the wrong thing, they're like, you don't know what they're called. I don't give
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
they throw bullets at like a mile a minute, like 20, 100 bullets, whatever,
Assault rifles. Yeah.
you
Hmm.
don't need it to hunt. You need to
Agreed.
learn how to hunt better because you suck,
Agreed.
you
Yeah.
know?
And I know
Um,
someone who has one and he's super nice and like not like crazy, but when that terrible school shooting
mhm.
Uvalde,
Uvalde, I think.
okay, happened, he came over for like dinner and he was like, he knows how like anti-gun we are basically, and or at least he thinks we're like super woke anti-gun
Right.
people. And so he was like, I just want you to know, like, I would give up that gun in a second if it meant like stricter gun control or something like that. And I was like, oh, that's nice to hear you say. He
Right.
still has one, but like he
Right.
keeps it locked up because he's a gun enthusiast. So,
Yeah. Well,
mhm,
we had some, not me, but like my husband had some,
mhm,
but we had a whole gun safe. And I was always very like, we have kids in the house. So I don't want to see a gun where my kids can grab it easily because
mhm.
kids are curious.
Yeah,
That's why so many accidents
that's what
happen.
happens. Yeah.
Um, and so we did have a huge gun safe, but he sold the safe and we had whatever those assault rifles are that,
Hmm.
the heavy duty ones. And I was like, what do you need that for?
And he
He
sold
never
those
used it.
too.
He got rid
Yeah.
of them. Yeah. So now he just has like, I think a handgun or two.
Yeah.
Um,
But are those locked up?
he keeps it on him most time because he's got a concealed carry
Mm.
license. I think we don't even need that now in Florida. I'm not
No, I
sure.
don't think so. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, he does keep it locked up.
That's good because I remember being like 8 years old in my uncle's car and opening his glove compartment and like holding one. It like looked like this. It was silver
Yeah.
and it was a little bigger than this, but I remember like, it was like a core memory. It was like
Yeah.
really fucking heavy. And then I was like immediately scared and put it back. But I was in the car with my twin sister and my little cousin, and there
So
were
that could have
no
been
adults in that car. Can you
okay.
like,
So you know who's like that? My dad,
oh,
right? So he's always owned guns. And when I say people shouldn't own guns, my dad is like one of those people that I'm talking about.
yeah,
He had
yeah.
no business owning a gun.
Like my
He
uncle too.
too
Like,
much.
yeah. Just
Yep.
you can't leave. Like there were several children, or there were at least six children in and out of that car all summer. Like, and there's just a fucking gun in there. Like,
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
care if you're good with the gun or you're mentally sane. You're an idiot for leaving it open to anyone.
Yep. Do you know how many guns are out on the street that are, stolen from cars because people just leave them in the car? That's
Yeah,
like the number one way that,
yeah,
from what I understand,
yeah.
quote me on this, but
No,
like one of the top ways that guns make it on the streets.
it's just from being stolen out of glove compartments. Yeah,
Hmm.
idiots. People do
Idiot.
better.
Yeah, do
Know better,
better.
do better. This is not an episode about gun control.
Yeah, we
An
got a
episode
little off
about
topic, but
education. Sorry, it's my mug. So anyway, we were talking about Linda McMahon and how she bought her way into this position, or at least that's the last thing I remember.
yeah. Well, we were talking about how she didn't know about the
Oh,
Tulsa
Tulsa Race
Massacre.
Master. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's right. Yeah. What? Guess what else she didn't know about?
a lot of things. Ah,
Ruby Bridges. Which
uh,
so I was like on vacation up in Michigan taking a poll, and I was like, everyone knows who Ruby Bridges is, and
right.
like was like, well, you'd be surprised, and I was like, would I? And so I asked just like my our friends and family, and there were a few of them that were like, wait, is that which one is that? Is that the bus lady? I'm like, please, are you fucking kidding me? They're like, wait, no, Rosa Parks is the bus lady. And so like I think just from the small sample that I was able to survey, Rosa Parks is more popular than Ruby Bridges, which to me is
Yes.
mind-boggling. I don't know.
But I feel like Rosa Parks is someone that we constantly learn about during Black History Month, like every year, Rosa Parks is like someone that's brought up. While
Hmm.
Ruby Bridges, you know about her, but she's not like a name that's constantly brought up.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
think that might be what it is. And if you're like me, that you're bad with names, like instantly, like you mention a name and I'm like deer in headlights, I know
So
who
am
it
I.
is
I'm the
and I
same
can't,
way.
like I'm like blanking.
Yeah.
That might be what's happening too, just to give them a little out, like maybe that's what it is.
It was the guy that bought this mug.
Oh, okay, maybe he didn't know.
No, he like, and then I showed him the book. He's like, "Oh yeah, I know who that is," but like, I
Yeah,
didn't know that was her name, and I'm like, oh,
yeah,
heartbreaking.
I
But
know.
but I mean, that's kind of what this conversation is going to be about. Is like, these topics, whatever insert fill in the blank here. Authors, subjects, books, fill in the blank, are already suppressed. We don't need to suppress them any further. And
Right,
that's what we're doing. That's what Linda McMahon and the Trump administration is doing, is just like adding insult to injury and making it even harder to learn about these things because now
right,
teachers are afraid to give this book to their students to read, because they're afraid of getting fired,
right.
even though
And
they're
the
not going to get.
reasoning behind it is so dumb. Like I know you know the reason, but like why are these not allowed to be shared with kids?
Mhm. I mean, am I supposed to answer that? Do you want
Yeah,
me to?
yeah.
Oh, okay. So
Like I know you know, but I'm gonna ask you anyway. Sorry.
no, no, it's okay. So these I picked these out like hand picked these out. And you got those from our library. So I
Yeah,
love that they're at our library because some books aren't,
right.
like Blackbirds in the Sky, that was not at our library. But I
Yeah.
love that these were. I bought these online because I've already started to desecrate it by writing in the pages. But I would say that in my research, this particular book, which was written by Ruby Bridges herself, right? So it's a first-hand account, a primary
Right.
source. Like those are
Right.
so important. And parents had it banned, and I'll pull it up. I think I wrote it down somewhere, like the specifics, because it makes white children uncomfortable.
Right.
Like, what
Yeah.
kind of insane rationale are we dealing with here? And I think
And that's
also,
how we whitewash history,
yep.
Like, oh, this makes other white people uncomfortable, so let's not talk about it. Let's
Hmm.
ignore it. And so we keep repeating history because
Hmm.
we don't learn from it.
Yeah, exactly. We're not learning from, and I think it gets a little bit more complicated than that. Um, but ultimately it's about bravery. It's about being brave, like Ruby Bridges, and it takes is for like the parent to be brave enough to have those uncomfortable conversations with
Right.
the kids, or the teacher to be brave enough to risk their job when
Right.
they're not gonna, like, I find it hard to believe that a principal would risk getting a teacher fired when they're already facing so many shortages, but it has happened. Anyway, I wanted to show
Yeah.
you this picture. So this is on page 15. I'm gonna try and show it here. There it is. So you can see I already started writing in the margins, but it's essentially a angry mob of white people, and they are carrying around a baby casket with
Okay. Yeah.
a black baby doll outside of William France Elementary School, which is the school that Ruby Bridges attended in 1960. And and I wrote in the margins, I said, this isn't taught. Yeah, there you go. That's a good picture. This, well, it's a terrible picture. Sorry. It's a higher quality picture of what I was doing. This isn't taught, and it should be. Like, if elementary school children knew that that is what happened,
Hmm.
then that would stick in their little developing brains and make those neural connections that build empathy, because empathy is taught and we're not
Right.
teaching it in school because parents are afraid it's going to make their kids uncomfortable, or at least that's what they say, but really it's more than that. It's that they're used to being racist and don't want to change their ways.
Yeah. And the thing is, this
Go ahead.
is some of these kids' grandparents, great grandparents. And I think that's what scares them,
They're
like,
ashamed.
yeah, it's clearly shame. Um, I mean, some of them still believe in this stuff too, so there's that.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, like, own what you did and learn from it.
Hmm.
I think that's what's important. You can look back and say, my family did this. I'm not proud of it, and
Hmm.
I'm gonna do better.
I can say that for myself. My let's see. So it was my grandpa's mom. So my grandpa's name was Shirley Wilbur Green. He had a
Surely.
Yes, he had a woman's name and he hated it. And so he changed his name to Bud. And he called himself Bud. But anyway, his mother's name. So can you imagine who would name their son Shirley? Well, guess who
Right.
named their son Shirley? Someone named Cleopatra. So Cleopatra had a husband. What was his name? Wilbur, maybe?
I was
No.
gonna say Earl.
Walter. I think it was Walter.
Okay.
So Walter, he was like a paid soldier. Like he traveled up through South Africa. Like I think he was in those sort of like paid wars.
Okay.
And then he took a boat back to South America, made his way up toward, in South America to get to Texas because that's where they lived. And he was like caught by warring South American like tribe, if you will,
Okay.
and they put a knife to his throat, and while he was sleeping in his tent, they're like, "You're fighting for us or you're dead." So he actually fought on both sides. So in South
Okay.
Africa, he fought like with the white Dutch people,
Yeah.
against the black people that lived in South Africa. And then in South America, he was forced to fight with the brown people, indigenous people
Okay.
who were warring with the Spanish colonizers. And he made it out alive to have my grandpa. But anyway, long story short, Cleopatra, when he died, he had a Ku Klux Klan like memorial, like signifier symbol on his gravestone, and she went and took it off because she was
Oh,
ashamed of
good.
it. But she kept it for a long time, and then I think my dad told me he found it when he was like going through their things, and he got rid of it. But it's not hard to trace if you're a white lady like
Right.
me.
Right. I mean, it's sorry, my phone is dinging.
Oh, I can't
Yeah,
hear
it is. Yeah, it's there. A lot of people have it in their history. That was very common.
it. Hmm.
I know you're reading Blackbirds in the Sky,
Hmm.
and I started reading it too, and they touch on the KKK a lot in that book too. So we'll save that for that episode, but
Well, we can talk about the KKK because that kind of translates in here because
yeah.
they were founded as like a Christian group, and in their early days, they did a lot of quote good things under the guise of Christianity in terms of like
Hmm.
feeding the hungry and like I don't know, like it was weird because like you know Christians are like inherently, or at least were inherently racist, and like they were able to have their Christian religion and still are to this day, and say that they are Christian, even though Jesus Christ would never have allowed this kind of treatment of another human being. And so the example I want to use here is on page, it's like on the at the beginning of this book, which is a hardcover book for those watching and listening. It's a hardcover book, and it's each page has a black and white photograph with Ruby Bridges' thoughts on the other side. So on page 6, there is a picture of, the caption says, "Angry segregationist protesters gathered daily outside Ruby's school." And you can look at that picture and just this, you can see, I was going to say you could see a cross in the background, but that's not a cross, that's a power line. But hold it up a little bit more, go up. You're, yeah, other way. I can't see it. I can see you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There you go.
Oh,
There you go. There
there
you
we
go.
go.
So yeah,
The problem of
angry.
not being able to see what you're doing.
But those are some Christian women right there. Okay.
That's
And
today's Moms for Liberty.
yes, yes. But so what I wanted to talk about was what happened earlier this year on a playground when a white woman called a special ed black boy the N word
He
because
was
he,
5, right?
a 5-year-old black
5.
boy
Hmm.
who went through her diaper bag.
To get
Like,
a toy, like normal kid behavior. Like they're at
yeah,
a park, another kid has a toy.
yeah,
They still don't know, not to go through other people's stuff yet. They're still
yeah.
learning.
That's not even like ASD, autism spectrum disorder, like level.
Right,
Like that's just like my youngest would have done that,
right.
and she doesn't have ASD, at least to my knowledge. But
Hmm.
she, after that, you heard, I don't know her name. I did read an article about her, but I loved that the article did not print her name.
Right.
They did actually, it's not hard to find out who she is because she has a not a GoFundMe, a Christian equivalent to a GoFundMe called Give Send Go. So it's the
Yeah.
Christian one, which
Well, I
raised,
think she started with a GoFundMe
oh, she
and
did.
it was reported, like everyone started mass reporting it and took it down
Well, good
because she
for
had
you,
gotten like a lot
GoFundMe.
of money on there.
Good. Oh, did she have to give the money back?
Oh, well, I don't think she'd ever got to cash it out, but like she
Okay.
was getting donations.
I remember I was like sick to my stomach when the story came out. I couldn't even read about it. I was like, no, I can't. If I read this and realize like how disgusting and ignorant people actually are, I don't know what I'll do. I'll have to like, I don't know, move to a remote island in the middle of the Arctic Ocean or something.
It's really sad because the man who like confronted her and was like recording her and made her go viral is
Yeah.
a Middle Eastern man,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And so he knew the family, the kids, that were being harassed. And so he stuck up for them.
Hmm.
He did the right thing. And all these racist people started doxing him, harassing him, sending him death threats. I'm like,
I hope
you
he's
are
okay now.
going really hard for this woman.
Yeah.
Like she
And
was right. Like, like 10 toes down, like, yeah, we support what she did.
mhm.
And
And
like
he's
so
a
blatantly
Christian.
racist. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah.
And you could argue like, oh, someone donated that wasn't a Christian, whatever. But this was a Christian platform,
Mhm.
Give Send Go, that did not turn off her campaign like GoFundMe did, which is not a Christian platform.
Right.
And but you know what they did do? They had to turn off the comment section because it was not Christian.
The
So
supporters were writing things that weren't Christian.
yes, they were
Yeah.
like giving her money and saying, like using racial slurs in the comments,
Uh-huh.
like just disgusting. So the NAACP's response was to form a GoFundMe for the family of the little boy, and they ended up raising $340,000 compared to her 700,000. Like,
Right.
fuck.
Right.
But then the family asked the NAACP to close it early because they wanted privacy, which
Yeah.
I don't blame them. Like, no amount of money is worth like being scared for your family's life.
Yeah.
It's awful. But anyway, to relate it back to what we're talking about, like the KKK is in deeply Christian, and these people protesting against Ruby Bridges going to a white school, I would bet 80-90% of them are Christian.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, and you can't really read it, but if you look really closely at that picture, there's like a little boy on the right hand side, and he's holding up a sign that says, "All I want for Christmas is a clean white school." Are you
Ugh.
kidding me?
Oh my God. Yeah, that's so gross. That's
And
so
this
gross.
books like this are not allowed in many schools due to A, parental complaints, or B, it being, DEI according to Linda McMahon, or not even getting a straight answer on that. And so schools are like, well, we didn't get a straight answer on this, so we're just going to pull it off the shelf to be safe. So,
It's so sad.
mhm.
Like it's really sad. And as parents, we have to buy these books,
Mm.
teach our kids about this because they're not going to learn about it at school. And if they do, they're going to get a very whitewashed version of it.
Like I
And you know
did.
what's crazy? For me, every time it's Ruby Bridges' birthday, there's a post like on Facebook like celebrating her birthday, right?
She's not dead.
She's not dead, right? So it's like always like mind-boggling, like she's still alive and like
Yeah.
she's not old, she's
That's
young.
why, that's why
This
I would
didn't
say that's part of the reason why they don't want her to be taught about, because it would be like too much of a connection.
right. Like this didn't happen that long ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
And
she's
like I
still
said,
alive.
it's
And she's
it's
not
like
even like, look at her now.
yeah, I think she's now in her 60s,
Look at her.
maybe early 60s. Hold on, I'm gonna double
Living
check.
her best life. Well, I don't know. She
She's
lives.
gorgeous. She's such
Yeah.
a sweet person. Like I've seen her like her Instagram. I think she's on Instagram.
Yeah,
She's
she
on
is.
social
She
media.
is. It's oh no. Yeah, rubybridges.com is her website, and she's on Instagram. Um, but another thing I wanted to talk about in regards, well, both books, because there's two books. Okay. What were you going to say something before I jump into
She's
the
70. I was gonna say she's
70?
70. Yeah.
Okay. 70 is like the new 50 though. So
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, my mom's in her 70s. She's doing awesome.
yeah, I'm 38, just had birthday. I feel like 38 is like the new 28. I know lots of people who are having their first kid at 38, and I'm like, are you okay?
Right. But yeah, good for them. They lived a good life without children. I
Yeah.
tell my kids all the time, I'm like, girls, live it up while you can.
Hmm.
Kids are great, but like enjoy life because once you have them, it's a
Hmm.
different life.
I tell mine that they don't have to. I'm like, I grew up being told I had to have, not, those words exactly, but like, oh,
Yeah.
you're gonna be such a good mom one day. And now I'm like doing the opposite with them. I'm like, you don't have to be a mom or a dad. Like you can just have dogs if you want.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Well, let me clarify too. Like this is like my older girls and they'll be like,
Mm.
"Oh, I held such and such his baby and I got baby fever." And I'm like,
Mm-mm.
"You've got
Mm-mm.
time. You don't have to do it
Yeah.
now."
No, it's becoming more normal to like get married when you're like in your early 30s and then like
Yeah.
have kids in your late 30s. Like I'm happy that I did it the way that I did it because I would be just dead ass tired. But
Right.
I totally get doing that.
Yeah.
But anyway, 30 is the new 28. The other book that I want to talk about is a young reader. So it's a level 2 book, also written by Ruby Bridges. So cool. And you could talk about as a teacher in like second grade, first grade, whatever. You could talk about what a primary source is and how this is an example of a primary source, because I know that's like, as a science teacher, I don't really know about
Hmm.
like the English language standards and like the literature standards, but I do know that primary and secondary sources are like a big deal in
Yeah.
studies and also language arts. So this would be a great example of a primary source. But it's banned, so sorry, you can't do that. Can't do that because we have pictures like this on page.
That's what I was looking at right now too.
Same
Like
one,
it's
yeah.
so
We want white tenants in our white community, and that boy, we won't go to school with Negroes. Yeah.
and that's someone's grandpa right now.
Yeah.
That's someone's pawpaw.
Someone's papa. My mom had a husband and we called him Papa. And they got divorced, and my kids sometimes still bring it up. They're like, where did Papa ever go? I'm like, don't worry about Papa.
He's around somewhere.
Oh, but just how cute she is.
She's
Just,
adorable. Yeah. How how could people be mean to her?
I don't
Like, how
know.
can grown women, mothers, how can another mother treat a child like that?
I do know. The answer has to do with what we discussed when we covered Caste by Isabel Wilkerson. It's the dehumanization of a group. And
Yeah.
we talked about, Isabel Wilkerson does it best. So go read her book or watch her movie, which is on Netflix. And the movie is amazing. I cried more than I did when I watched the movie than I read the book because the imagery is just so strong.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, like, how can white mothers be so cruel to like a beautiful child, black child,
Right.
even if it wasn't a beautiful child? Like, how can anyone be cruel to a child? It's because our society, government, whatever you want to call it, has successfully convinced us that an entire group of people aren't human. And that's one of the pillars of caste is
Yeah.
dehumanization. And we're seeing it now with brown people.
Yeah.
And alligator Alcatraz.
Auschwitz.
Yeah, alligator
Let's not
Auschwitz.
call it Alcatraz because it's
Yeah.
alligator Auschwitz. It's
Yeah.
another concentration camp.
And that's what I kind of wrote. I wrote that down on one of these pictures of like just an angry mob of white people like holding signs because it's the same thing. Like wearing an alligator Alcatraz shirt, right? Or hat or whatever, and not calling it what it is, a concentration camp, is the same thing as protesting outside of Ruby Bridges school.
Yeah. People are driving up to the sign
I saw
and
that.
taking photos in front of it. Like it's a
Disgusting.
touristy, stop.
You posted
It's
that on your
so
Instagram.
gross. I did,
Yeah.
yeah.
You should post that on our Instagram because I get
I need to do that, yeah. I need to
I
do that.
I was like looking at your Instagram. I was like, damn it, Jennifer, just put that on ours.
What I'll do is I'll start going from mine and posting there and then log into MILF and start
It's
reposting.
annoying. I know that's what I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, and you know what I do? I will post something like really controversial and like anti-Christian or whatever, and I'll post it to my personal account on accident and be like, oh shit. And then I'll have to go and delete it because I don't need my in-laws seeing that.
Yeah.
Because I just it's still a secret because I just don't want to have the conversation about like the Christian conversation,
Right. Yeah,
because
yeah.
yeah, it's just
See, everyone in my family, because I have very Christian family as well. Like I said, my sister is married a pastor, and their whole families are pastors, and my mom is very Christian, but they all know how I feel.
Mhm.
I'm the black sheep, and they pray about me, and I'm like, keep praying. It's
Yeah.
I'm
Oh, they
you
know.
guys. and I'm a bitch, right? Like I'm super nice in person, but I can be a bitch. And so I'm like, you guys are why I don't like church. Like it's the hypocrisy. It's how you vote for a piece of shit and
Mm-hmm.
then claim you're Christian.
Mm-hmm.
That
They're
doesn't,
not. They wouldn't, I mean, knowing what they know now, they would have changed their
right.
vote. Yeah.
And I'll tell them, I'm like, you guys want me to go back to church, but for what? All you guys do is talk shit about everyone. You
Yeah.
judge everyone,
Mm-hmm.
and then for things that they've done. Like
Mm-hmm.
I got judged so hard because when I showed up to their church, I was pregnant and not
Right.
married,
Right.
right?
Right. Right. Yeah.
And so I remember like a lot of the people, like I was 20,
Uh-huh.
21,
Mm-hmm.
were like, oh, like in the youth group, don't hang out with her, like kind of like one because I was a bad influence. I'm
Uh-huh.
like, I got pregnant, yeah, but all these girls are out here handing it out too. They just haven't gotten pregnant. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, and you, the mom saying this,
Mm-hmm.
we're a single mom too. Like, how are you judging me
Mm-hmm.
when you did the same thing?
Right. And that's the ultimate, that like that's the face of Christianity. That's the Christian, that's like the majority of Christianity. I made a rule that I would never speak about like my in-laws on this podcast
Right.
because I already feel bad for bringing it up, but I do want to say they're not that. They
Right.
don't fall into that category. They fall into like that very small category where they're actually not hypocrites, right? Oh, and Tamara, our our religious expert who was on
Yes.
one time, um, she falls into the same category too, where she is a devout Christian, but she
Right.
calls out the hypocrisy that Jesus Christ would never, like I said earlier, Jesus Christ would never stand for this kind of treatment of any human.
Yeah.
And so that's the camp that my in-laws are in and that Tamara, our religious expert, is in. But the majority of Christians are not.
Who was it? And I think I reposted this, maybe I didn't. Shoot, I wish I had kept it. Someone said that if Jesus was around today and like spewing the woke shit,
Mhm.
he'd get arrested too.
Oh yeah. He'd be in
And
there
I
with
I, I can't
Malmed.
yes, I can't
Mhm.
remember who it was though. Damn.
Oh, someone like important said that.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Someone like either with like a check mark next to their name or someone in like politics.
Oh, yeah. Maybe
I'll
like
have to find
Bernie
it.
Sanders or
And I'll have,
something.
yeah, keep an eye out on our Instagram. If I find it, I'll repost it.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah, definitely do that. Um, but but yeah, so my speaking of what you were saying, which is like what can we do? And this is so sad, whatever. We try not to be all doom and gloom here, but my third grader, I didn't even prompt her about this. Like I just had the books laying around. She picked them up and was like, "Who's this?" And I was like, "You've never heard of Ruby Bridges?" And she's like, "No." And I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm a terrible mother." But no, she picked them up and she read them and she had all these questions and she was just like, just ate it up. And she read them multiple times too. Um,
Right.
and she had her iPad, like she had other things she could be doing, but like she was very interested in this, and I didn't even have to force it. They were just there. Like sometimes all you have to do is like rent the books from the library and then
Right.
just put them on the table, and then just
Right.
they'll pick them up.
Yeah, let them find it. That's a
Yeah,
much better way than you actually being like, "Hey, let's read this." Because
story
then I'm like,
time.
"Oh,
Or you know what else works? If you do want to force story time on your kids, just get a bunch of donuts or cookies, you know?
yeah."
So I do book club. I'm like, okay, who wants to do Harry Potter book club? Which I know Harry Potter, whatever, but um,
Yeah.
we're not going to get into that.
Don't
uh,
buy those books anymore, please.
I didn't buy them. I already
No,
have.
no, I'm not saying you, but because I own them too. My daughter went through a phase where she was all about them. And I did buy them secondhand, but
Yeah,
yeah, she's a horrible author. Like
yeah,
she's a horrible human.
I know,
So
I know.
off subject, but
Anyway, so yeah, these books are great. Oh, I did want to, so I'm like going through and looking at all the things that I wrote down. Like, so I did like a little heart next to, I'll let you show it. It's on page 17. And the caption reads, as Jennifer gets that ready,
which
Ruby,
book are we looking at?
oh, sorry, the hardcover one.
Okay.
Yeah. Like the hardcover one can be read by younger kids, but it's honestly more for like middle school. It's not like a young reader, but It's easy to read, I think. Yeah, so there's Ruby Bridges with her teacher, Barbara Henry. Though the school was desegregated, white parents refused to let their children share a classroom with Ruby. And Barbara Henry came all the way from Boston. I guess it was hard to find a teacher that would teach her, right? And they just formed this really special relationship, and they still have a relationship to this day. And she says, she made school really fun. We never missed a day that whole year. We knew we had to be at school for each other. And that builds so much empathy. If you're
Yeah,
a kid and you're reading that, and you're a teacher and you're reading that,
right.
I'm not going to cry again, but I did cry when I was reading this.
Yeah, yeah. And there's those teachers that make that kind of difference, and
Yeah.
she's clearly one of those.
I'd like to think I was that teacher.
I think you would be too. Damn, you made me cry. Yeah, yeah, I definitely
Like
think,
just shot me like the most annoyed look. Like, are
like,
you
are you serious right
serious?
now? Yes, we're crying, okay?
Listen, people love it. Some people. Anyway, oh, the other thing I wanted to talk about was the cover of this book. Do you know who painted that picture?
Oh my God, no.
I didn't know either until I read it, because this is like we're both the same way with when it comes to names. It's like I don't,
Right.
but I'm sure you've heard of Norman Rockwell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I've heard that name. Yeah.
yeah. So Norman Rockwell painted that picture. First of all, isn't it just an amazingly painted picture?
Yeah.
Oh, it says it down at the bottom. Norman Rockwell. It's kind of hard to see.
I was trying to see it, but I couldn't make it out.
Hmm.
Oh, I see it. Okay. But yeah,
But
like if it's hard to see it here, but like even like, you
that
know,
that's what I
it's
was gonna
the
say.
imagery. Yeah.
The imagery, and it's like when you look at that picture, that's not the first thing you see. You
Right.
have to, like, look at it. And I kind of looked at it a few times, and like do you see on the left side is the racial slur at the top. You could see the armband of the US Marshal who had to escort her in because her own father couldn't do it, even though this book also talks about the relationship she had with her father, who was like her biggest advocate, her biggest fan. Like they had such a special relationship, and he wanted to take her to school, but he couldn't because he wouldn't be protected. And
Yeah.
so that's why you see the US Marshal armband up in the top left-hand corner of that painting. And then you look in the top right-hand corner of that painting. Oh yeah, there's her dad. What's his name? Abon? I think it was like Abon, Abon.
Avon.
Yeah. And he was a Korean War veteran who received a Purple Heart for bravery.
And
But
he couldn't take his daughter to school. Like,
and
let
he
that
got
sink in.
fired. And he
Yeah.
got fired from his job because of all of this. So like he's got his own story. But in that painting too, you can see there's a tomato. It kind of looks like blood.
Right.
You see that?
Yep.
Yeah. And it's splattered down on the ground. And it's just such an amazing painting, and
Yeah.
like that can be the subject of an art history class or even just an art class, you
Yep.
know? Um, but it's not.
I was gonna say not here in Florida, especially not here in Florida.
Mm-mm, yeah. Um, you know, and if I went back to teaching, or if I had an opportunity to write, like I did have opportunities to write curriculum that was like this, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't get paid for it. They would be like, "No,
Right.
you don't want that."
Not right now.
No,
This
thank you.
sorry.
Which reminds me, okay, let's get to before we end this episode. Trump, he has frozen $6 billion in education funds. Um, Currently, right now, there are lawsuits that are trying to prevent this freeze or unfreeze it. You know, Nothing has happened yet. It's still relatively new, but the bottom line, and Miss Frazzled is just an expert on this. So if you want to know the details and more information, um, you can follow her Substack page, Miss Frazzled, and you can just read her newsletters. Like she breaks it down
Right.
beautifully. But essentially, like programs like after school programs, like after school meal programs, programs that were benefiting first generation like college students, low income students, all of that is gone, right? And it's
Right.
because it doesn't align with Trump's quote, I don't, what did he say? Like I don't know, his view for education. It's like too woke. So
Right.
there are programs called Trio and Gear Up, et cetera. And what they do is they help low income students, students whose parents didn't go to college, students with disabilities, English language learners, students in underfunded schools. They help kind of bridge that gap, and now they're gone. So
Right.
that's gonna mean a lot in this upcoming year in the future if the high courts don't do something about it and unfreeze the funding, which
Right.
I'm
And
hopeful happens, but
here's the thing, right? I think the people that care, right? And the people that are like, oh yeah, I'm Christian and I'm pro-life, but I'm okay with cutting all these funds to children because they're brown, or black,
Mhm.
because when you talk about like kids that don't know English, right? We're speaking about immigrants and they don't give a fuck about immigrants.
Mm-mm.
So I think hopefully they'll listen to this part. There are going to be things that happen to your kids where your kids won't benefit. I just saw a post here in Flagler County. Our schools now, if you volunteer, and I used to volunteer, this is
Mhm.
the first year I didn't volunteer. Because my kids are not in elementary school anymore and they don't want mom around.
Right,
Um,
right, yeah.
but if you want to volunteer, if you want to go on field trips with your kid,
Uh-huh.
before you'd show up to the city government building and they
Get
take your
your
picture
badge.
and get
Yeah,
your badge.
yeah.
Now you have to pay $75, okay,
What?
to do that.
Huh.
$75 to get that badge
Yikes. Why?
every year,
They're trying
yearly.
to make money. They're like, we don't have any money, so you guys have to pay for this.
So you're not going to that,
Yeah, that's a great
that
example.
what do you call that? Field
Field
trip with
trip.
your kid.
hmm That's a great example because like $6 billion is a lot of money. And now schools are going to have to scramble to like get real creative and like move money around so that, they can operate. And those things like that, that's a small but a good example of
Right.
how the white mom in her Lexus with her iced coffee is going to be impacted. Sorry, nothing against Lexuses or coffee.
Right.
It's just trying to create an image for you. That's me. I describe myself.
Yeah. And
Wish I
maybe
had a
those
Lexus.
moms
Yeah.
will be okay. But like the average mom that struggles, but she takes her one day off of work to go do a field trip or go to field day and show up for their kid,
Mhm.
can't do that now.
Right. And an even bigger level is the after school program. So the single mom that relies on that after school program,
Hmm.
which let's just talk about the people that are paid in that after school program barely get enough money as it is. Now it's just gone. So,
Right.
oh, you can have it. Blake needs his fancy microphone because he started his own podcast.
Oh, I thought he was coming for his mug.
No, he doesn't want that. He started his own podcast. So I have been on him to start you can have it. Go ahead. Sure. Yeah. It's okay. The mics don't pick up background. He's going to do his own podcast in the background. And he thinks that I'm going to be
Nice.
bugging him, but he can put his headphones on. But so I've been bugging him so we're MILF, Moms into Literary Freedom. I want him and his like punk rocker dad friends to do DILF, Dads into
Oh, that would be
Lyrical
fun.
Freedom, and talk about like punk songs that like, because there's so many of them. Like the
Yeah.
guy from Reconciler that we interviewed
Yes.
about the Katy Perry space video,
Yes, yes.
Joseph. That was like such a fun interview. So basically he's doing that, but it's less political because he hates talking about that kind of stuff.
Okay, that's cool.
But it's for this concert festival that happens once a year in Gainesville called Fest. And
Okay.
he's been interviewing bands that play at Fest. And he's already had like, I don't know, like 10 or 15 bands reach out to him to like be interviewed. And so
Damn.
so he's got his pod. So now we both have podcasts that make no money.
The family that podcasts together stays together.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna start our own podcast empire.
Right.
We're gonna be making 5,000 a year tops. But no,
Rolling in it.
on that note, if you stayed on for this long, please rate, review, and subscribe. Join us on our Patreon. We're trying to get the Patreon up and running. We'll do a monthly book club once we have enough people on there. You can tell us what books to cover. I'm going to be making mugs, snarky political mugs, non-political mugs, all kinds of mugs.
Yeah.
Because come September, I'm unemployed thanks to Trump and his budget cuts. I'll have so much time to make all the
Right.
political mugs that I want.
Oh no.
Yeah. So please join our Patreon channel.
Please. We just want to go on field trips with our kids, let's
Right. Yeah, we need to afford that
make that happen.
$75 fee. Oh man. Oh, we have a 5-star story.
Let me
Remember?
show you my t-shirt. I haven't showed it to you. Have you
Oh
seen this?
yeah. Stop pretending your racism is patriotism. I can put that on a mug.
Yes.
Jennifer's gonna sell her t-shirts. I'm gonna sell my
I didn't
mug.
make this one because
Oh,
I'm,
you didn't?
I'm lazy, but
You can
I
make it.
like it. I could make it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't though.
All right. So I have a 5-star story. Do you have any 5-star stories?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay, I have one. Let's see. It's like buried underneath all of my 0-star stories. It was the governor of North Carolina, who is like pretty awesome, apparently. Um, he hold on, let me pause while I find it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot. I wanted to not lose it, so I texted it to you.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's our problem. Why do we have 3 different places where we put things?
And then we
So,
can't find
you
anything.
know. So to close out this episode, we're gonna end with a 5-star story, not necessarily about education, but still very important. North Carolina Governor Josh Stein vetoes anti-trans. Oh, it is about education.
Yeah.
Anti-trans and anti-DEI bills. And I read that headline like a few times. I was like, what?
Right. What's going
Because
on?
I was, it's hard to keep up with everything. And I honestly didn't even know North Carolina had a Democratic governor.
I didn't either. I'm kind of shocked by that.
Yeah. So, hey, if you want to get out of Florida and you still like warm weather ish, move to North Carolina. But he vetoed 3 bills that targeted DEI programs and transgender provisions that would have let parents opt out or opt their children out of instruction on certain subjects. So that sounds like it sounds like I'm saying, oh, 6-year-olds should be taught about trans people. That's not what it is. It would be like,
It's not.
oh, my child isn't allowed to read a book that features 2 moms. That's what we're
Right.
talking about. That's the
Right.
bullshit that we don't want. And Josh Stein sees that. He says,
Right.
no, not in my state. So, oh, and also gender affirming surgeries would have been prohibited, but or state funded surgeries would have had been prohibited, but he put the kibosh on that as well.
Good.
We'll link that article so you can read it in full. But I don't have to get into the details. It's just overall, it's a good thing.
It's a good thing. Yeah.
So,
We need more of that. We need more of,
and
you know, people standing up to what's happening.
in those stories, those people, they're kind of getting like buried under the rubble because there's a state that recently banned book bans, which I'm like that's so funny. Like I'm
That's
banning book
yeah.
bans. Like, okay, that's one.
One band we can get behind.
Yeah, we love that. And then yeah, that was it. It was like I forgot what it was called or what the state was called. Illinois something, I don't know, some northern state. But yeah,
That's where my mind went because he's very and I can't think of his name either, but he's very pro books and has spoken out about um book bans and how against it he is. So that's who I thought it might be.
Illinois, yeah. Illinois
Okay.
passed a law that prohibits book bans in public and school libraries, making it the first state to do so. The legislation requires libraries to adopt the ALA's Library Bill of Rights to remain eligible for state funding, promoting access to diverse literature and protecting intellectual freedom. So yeah, that was
Nice.
the state of Illinois. So good for
Yeah.
you, Illinois. Good for you, North Carolina. Yay.
Round of applause.
So our next episode will either be the Blackbirds in the Sky about the Tulsa Race Massacre, or we could do
Yes.
Hunger Games 2 because I finished that and I'm currently on
Okay.
Hunger Games 3.
Nice.
Yeah, it's
You're
really
like breezing through these books.
it's because I don't have as much work because Trump made all my contracts get canceled.
Listen, we're starting to really see the effects of what's going on. I have a family member that works for Orange County Schools,
Mm,
and she is responsible for like contracts for teachers and like
mhm,
the budgets.
mhm.
Um, And yeah, she's mentioned how much funding the schools have lost
We don't
because
see
of
it. We don't see it right now, but we
Mhm.
can see that it's going to be bad if the higher courts don't step in and freeze or unfreeze the funding,
Right.
right? But hopefully we'll have some good news on that the next time we record. But in the
Yeah.
meantime, don't ban books.
Ban bigots. This episode has been engineered and mixed by your hosts, Jennifer and Courtney.
You can listen to the Milford Books podcast on iHeartRadio, Apple, Spotify, or literally any podcast app you want.
Check out our Milford Books YouTube page. That's MILF, the number 4, books. And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Follow the show on Instagram, Threads, Facebook, and Blue Sky at MILF for Books. Again, that's MILF, the number 4, books. But follow us on TikTok at Moms into Literary Freedom.